that old Zillow package has got worse and worse and worse quality. And people were just continuing to pay it because it's what they've always done. They're scared of change. And I think the agents that don't adapt are the ones getting left behind.
Hello, good morning, and happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm Justin Nimergood, your host of the Real Estate Rockstars. Today, I'm so excited for the guest that we have on with us, Mr. Fred Scarf. Today's guest is helping real estate agents rethink lead generation by turning webinars into scalable client attraction systems. Fred Scarf is the co-founder and CEO of launchwebinars.io, a company focused on helping producing agents grow their business by leveraging audiences instead of simply trading more hours for more leads. Through launchwebinars.io, Fred teaches agents how to transition from being traditional sales reps into recognized market leaders by using webinar-based marketing systems designed to attract qualified clients at scale. His approach centers on creating authority, building trust faster, and generating consistent appointment opportunities through educational presentations and automated lead generation strategies. Fred is also active within the online business and real estate education communities, where he shares practical insights on webinar funnels, business automation, client acquisition, and scalable marketing systems specifically tailored for real estate professionals. His mission is simple: help agents stop chasing leads and start creating predictable inbound opportunities through positioning and audience building. Known for his direct, results-driven style, that's for sure, Fred focuses on strategies that help agents increase visibility, multiply GCI, and build a more sustainable business model through leverage and automation. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Mr. Fred.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you having me on, Justin. We've had a roller coaster just going up since we started. So obviously me and you working together, and I'm excited to speak to everyone on here. I'm going to try and drop as much value as possible. If anyone's in the real estate space, then it should be a very valuable session today.
100%. That's why when I have to say I was so excited, as we've really developed our business partnership and relationship further, I've learned so much from you already, and I'm very grateful for that. And obviously, you're, as I like to call you, you're a bit of a marketing genius, I would say.
It's a good line. I've started using it now since you said that to me. I've claimed it. It's great.
He definitely is, folks. He's being very humble right now, but I'll tell you, someone to be able to launch and scale a business like he is. And also, I just love the lens that you're looking at the market through. You're pretty dialed in. Let me ask you this. Where did the idea for launchwebinars.io come?
It's a good question. So before, me and my business partner, we were actually running one of these cold SMS strategies. You've probably seen these companies, right? They spam text homeowners, they try and get them on the call. The problem is all these leads that would come from it, we would get some appointments, right? We wouldn't get some results, but the problem is they were upside down. They had 55 cats in the house. The back garden was a mess. Like, all the leads were people who were in like a dire situation, the worst kind of leads you want as a real estate agent, right? And on top of that, there was no like, no, and trust. So although they would speak to my team, right, we'd call them and say, hey, whatever, they'd speak to my team and say, yeah, no, I'm interested in selling. When they'd speak to the agent, they were rude. They pretended like they didn't know what was going on, or they just messed them about, right? And that was the key issue. There was no like, no, and trust. They just treated them like another sales agent, like another used car door opener, right? No one wants those kind of leads. So what I did is I analyzed it. I said, how can I build a disgusting amount of like, no, and trust, where regardless if they want to buy now, next week, but sell now, next week, or next year, when the time comes, they're going to choose you. How could I do that? And I looked at the possible marketing strategies, and I came to the conclusion that webinars are something that's actually really difficult to execute at a high level on a consistent basis. And I said, okay, no real estate agents are doing this successfully. And I looked at the competitors in the market of who's offering this, and it was just a mess. Not to shame anyone, but our biggest competitor has over 2,500 agents in there, but it's a program where they have to do it themselves and they get videos. That's like you, Justin, giving me videos on how to be a top agent, expecting me to be able to deliver on that in like a 3-month period. that's unreasonable, right? So I said, okay, let me make it done for you. Let me actually make it so agents can just come in, host the webinar, build that like, know, and trust, and then actually just have appointments with people who love them, regardless if they're ready to go now or next month.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And I really want to echo what you said. As someone who's been in the space, in the industry for, about 20 years now,
Yeah.
I've been through the ebbs and flows. I've seen, obviously tech take off in different ways, but this whole concept, that you had of the one to many, and also obviously the authority branding that you're talking about right now
Yeah.
is so important in our
100%.
business because, if you're an agent, especially if you are targeting cold leads, right? Because let's be honest, after you hit up your sphere, that's it. Maybe for 6 to 12
Right.
months, right? And then
Right.
you can maybe go back to them. But you're gonna have to do what, door knocking? Like, who door knocks anymore? We were talking about this at the
Who's got
team the
time for
other
that?
day.
You
No
know?
time for
Yeah.
that. And it still doesn't start you out in the right way in that relationship with them, right?
Yeah.
You just happen to catch them at the right time. See,
Because you're
which
reaching
is
out to them, right? You're going to them, therefore that puts them above you in a way in terms of like that relationship now, because you're asking something from them rather than you're, providing information, you're providing value, they're coming to you and they're seeing you as that authority. It's like in college, right? No one would question the professor, whether he's
Mhm.
right, wrong. He's the one sitting there in front of you all in this big hall telling you what's up. So it's the same kind of principle, just digitally, so we can do it from our living rooms without having to leave the house.
Yeah, I love that analogy. I'm gonna actually borrow that from you. I use the analogy of a doctor, right? Like when you go to the
Right.
doctor, do you argue with your doctor when he prescribes you to do something?
Right.
No, you don't.
There
So,
you go.
now you guys have a pretty, which is impressive, by the way. You have a global operation. I mean, you're in the UK, moving to Dubai, or maybe already have moved to
Yeah, I
Dubai.
kind of split live. Yeah. Yeah.
Split
Exactly.
lid. There
Yeah.
you go. These bricks, man, they have all these sayings, by the way. We'll get to that later in the show. But yeah, you're in the UK slash Dubai, and then you've got, what's folks all over the globe, right?
Yeah, we've got, Brazilians, we've got Americans, we've got my business partner's Swedish, and we've got some team in Asia as well, kind of on the back end, just like doing some technical stuff. So yeah, we're all around the world, but obviously all our clients, we focus on servicing top agents, team leaders, brokers, doing multiple deals a month who are looking to actually get their time back instead of just speaking to every lead one to one. They can educate one to many and then filter off the ones who are qualified. But yeah, we're an international team. So yeah, but it's great because the UK market, all these different markets, it's very up and down. And also UK real estate agents, for example, they can't make the same amount of commission that you make. They get a base salary and then a small commission, right? But in the US, you guys can make, 50K from one house.
Yeah.
Back. That's a year's salary in the UK. So that's why, I focus with US. And, you guys are more fun, right? We have a better time. The Brits, although in the past, we had a little argument. We guys took over and then you wanted your land back. It was the whole thing. But now we're best friends, and I feel like, they show me so much love. And whenever I come to US to see my clients, I wanted to come to you, but got caught up in some things, but we'll do that. Don't worry when I come to DFW. But yeah, it's always love. So I love it. I love the Americans. It's good fun.
Well, it's kind of the best of both worlds for you then, because I mean, let's be honest, the Americans love the British accent. So, you've already got instant rapport and trust with them when you speak with them. So that's awesome. But then you also obviously get the benefit of the way our economy and our system
Right.
is built out
Right.
here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
100%.
I know you keep a pulse on the real estate market, at least to some extent, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things you're seeing out there right now from your vantage point, right? As someone that's a tech and marketing, creator, right? Of systems that are designed to obviously help agents scale and grow their business. What are some of the things, or a thing at least, that you're seeing right now that you're like, this is something we need to keep our finger on. This is something, or maybe it's something that you guys are already in development of at launch webinars that I go like for the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. No, it's a good question. I mean, yeah, in terms of there's becoming a bigger and bigger gap between the agents who are successfully leveraging the new tech, the new AIs, the new systems, and agents that are doing the same thing that used to work in 2016, right? But even I think the main issue I see is agents will do things like running Facebook ads, and they'll have the belief that, oh, Facebook ads don't work, or this doesn't work, or, I've tried this one time and this doesn't work. And that belief stops them from actually trying something that can work, and that leaves them in the same space. So I think the biggest difference in terms of real estate, it's not quite your question, but it's something that I really see. And the biggest thing is like the agents that get stuck doing the same thing. It's like Zillow. Everyone knows that the Zillow zip codes pretty much across the country, that old Zillow package has got worse and worse and worse quality. And people are just continuing to pay it because it's what they've always done. They're scared of change. And I think the agents that don't adapt are the ones getting left behind. And that's that 80, 70% that are really getting left. And I think that 20, 10, 20, 30%, they're really pulling away. Now I'm seeing a bigger and bigger gap between the successful agents and the non-successful agents, now part-time agents. The gap's becoming bigger and there's not much in the middle. That's the biggest thing I'm seeing in terms of the market. But in terms of, new tech and stuff, obviously, utilizing AI in a successful way is extremely important. SEO is becoming more of a factor, like being successfully able to put yourself at the top of Google, is also a big thing I'm seeing a lot of success with. And also creating brands, I think there's a lot of things that's overplayed, thinking you need to dance on TikTok to get leads. That's definitely, I don't even recommend. I think that's very unserious personally. Although some people have success with it, maybe I think women predominantly, but it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, putting value-based content out on places like YouTube that's evergreen, that is part of your SEO. And I think a lot of agents miss out on that. And in my program, I've been helping agents utilize their webinars, chopping it up into short form using AI, getting 30 mini clips, right, and 30 reels out of your webinar, posting that on your socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, and then also putting the full webinar recording onto YouTube. And that's an evergreen system. So when people search your name, that will come up and they can watch that, 1 year down the line, and you can get leads from. And my client, Ethan Ray's in New York, he's been doing that, and he's got people closing from a video he posted 3 years ago about how to buy in his area. That's very valuable, and that's a crazy return on investment. It's free. So that's definitely something I think a lot of agents are missing out on.
Yeah, it's definitely something you and I probably need to spend some more time on as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is brilliant. I want to come back to something you were talking about though just a second ago, which is the giant in the industry, which is Zillow. And so I'm not sure if you heard or not. Probably not. I mean, it's kind of localized news, but actually last week, Zillow announced that Dallas-Fort Worth, and I think this is going to be for several other cities across or metro areas across the U.S. Dallas-Fort Worth is transitioning to a invite-only model. Luckily, our team got an invite for it, so we're going to be part of it. Just called their preferred program, and it's where they take a cut on the back end versus on the front end. Right. Our team luckily got an invite to it. Because I've done a significant amount of Zillow business, and they're definitely a core part of my business. Yeah. But it's also why I diversified into launchwebinars.io with you guys. What I was going to say though is I feel really bad, honestly, like almost guilty for all the agents out there that are good agents that are, unfortunately, they didn't get the invite to this program. It's really hard to get into. And there's going to be literally hundreds of agents across the Metroplex and probably thousands and thousands across the US that are going to be shit out of luck because they didn't get the invite, and you can't buy, advertising through Zillow anymore. Right. So all these agents are probably either one of two things is going to happen. They're going to have to pivot their strategy and do something different, right, than they've ever done before. Or they're going to honestly have to team up with agent teams like my team and join us, and then they can still be a part of Zillow. It's going to be a shakeup though. I've heard it's going to be almost like an Armageddon, if you will. And so I think about what you just said about Zillow and all that. And if I'm an agent and I just got displaced by Zillow, you better find something that can replace it real quick. And I believe that your solution is one of those success tools that they can absolutely, build and rebuild their brand with no problem. You guys are doing some remarkable things in the market right now. And if I'm an agent, for the agents out there that hear this and did get displaced by Zillow, my apologies again. You need to check out Fred because they're doing some amazing things. and this could very much replace what you were doing with Silo. So
I mean, 100%. In business, all the top success stories you hear about adapt or die. That's the reality of the situation. And a lot of agents, they don't treat their business like a business. They treat themselves like a glorified freelancer. And they don't realize that if you don't actually adapt to the current times, if you don't look at new opportunities in the market and look to be an early mover, if you're a late mover, in the terms of the original index curve, if you're moving after everyone's already moved, you've missed the boat, right? It's like Bitcoin, right? You need to see the opportunity and actually go for it. And those who do that are those who succeed. And that's business in general and always in life a little bit as well.
nice, nice, very, very well said, too. Now, let me ask you this: what is the thing that you are most proud of that you guys have done or built, or maybe even in general, just for yourself that you've done in
Yeah.
your career? What's your most proud moment?
Um, I mean, on the business side, I would say, I left university I got a full degree, everything was great. And I never used that degree. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go straight into entrepreneurship. I'm gonna go all in. And if I don't succeed, then I'll get a job. But if I do, that's life. I took a risk. And the first offer that we had, the SMS, it was a little bit messy, right? There was people unhappy, there was happy people as well, but it was one of those things where it was never going to be able to scale, and I didn't really feel like this was a business I was fully proud of, like a business I could be like, yes, this is mine, and I can shout from the rooftops and tell everyone like I have a product I believe in and I want to share that with everyone. And after closing that company and restarting it and now building something, we've been going for 6 months now with the webinar system, so it's fairly new. But since we've started, we've not had one refund. No one is refunded. No one has asked for their money back. And I think that shows in like the dedication me and the team have in making sure that when you join, like, I'm going to be here to keep you accountable and give you the actual tools you need to succeed. And yeah, I'm just super happy that, we've actually done that. And I think everyone in the program appreciates that level of care from the trial all the way through to them actually closing their deals in the full program as well.
Yeah, I have to echo what you said. You really are gifted at that. I mean, as someone that's obviously been a part of your program, you're not afraid to hold me accountable to certain action. And as much as I want to bitch and complain about doing it, because I do, I'm like, okay, this is the right thing to do. And if Fred honestly thinks this is gonna move the needle, let's do it, right? And I think that is an amazing part of what you're doing. Now,
No, I appreciate
the
it.
last topic I want to hit on with you before we move to our final segment is you have a bit of a creative process that you go through, especially when you're visualizing, let's say, ad sets that you're going to launch for these, for your clients.
Yeah.
Can you just share a little bit about what that process is?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can for sure. Obviously, this process that it's like a mental framework that I try to use. It can be applied to anything in life, right? So, we could talk. I could go into specifics, but I think the more general I keep it, people listening right now, they can then apply it to their own situation. So this is how I do it. Everyone has the different ways. But if I'm facing a problem, in bottlenecks, in business, sorry, the quicker we fix bottlenecks, we understand what's the biggest bottleneck from helping me get to the next goal, and we actually analyze that problem and we move with speed to fix it. The quicker we're going to grow, the quicker we're going to achieve the goals we want to achieve, whatever that is in life, right? And if we take that framework, if I have a big bottleneck that's coming up, and that can apply to the ads, that can apply to a girl I want. They can apply to anything, right?
Mhm.
It's like if I have this bottleneck, I have a process to understand, like, okay, how can we actually go about solving this? And it's a little bit about, taking time to get out of the situation. Because when we're in a situation, it's easy to get, caught up in the emotions. It's easy to get caught up in the data, feel frustrated that we aren't able to do X, Y, Z. Maybe that's you hiring more team members for your brokerage. Like you're trying to get someone, but there's no talent, whatever that issue is. What I tend to do is take myself out of the situation, go third person. Sometimes I meditate. Sometimes I go in the sauna for like an hour. Like there's different, places I can go. Maybe even in the shower sometimes some good ideas come to me. But I'll take time to go out of the situation, leave my desk, leave the electronics alone, and take time to just relax my mind and think about what are some creative ways we can get around this. Because everyone's going to think of, okay, to solve the problem, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. but actually there's more than likely multiple ways of fixing one problem. And sometimes the most quick option that our brains automatically go to, as human beings, we operate out of efficiency. Okay, we're efficient humans. Our brains programmed to operate out of efficiency from thousands of years ago. So sometimes we have to actively activate our brain to think, okay, let's not take the most efficient route here and understand what are some other ways to solve the problem that would solve the problem that actually may be more effective. And I think when you can take your mind out of a certain situation, take the emotions out, look at things on paper. I do it mentally, you can do it physically as well. Sometimes it's good to write things down and understand, here's the goal I'm trying to get to, here's where I'm currently at. There's not just one yellow brick road to that goal. There's multiple different roads, and we need to understand, based on the chips I have, based on the cards I have in my hand, what cards can I play? What road can I take to get to that goal? And I think when you look at things through that kind of lens, and I'm a little bit dyslexic, so for me, it comes a little bit like, naturally to just look at things a bit different. But when you look at things through that lens, I think it can help you actually understand that maybe this isn't the right way to do things. And new ideas will come to you, new concepts will come to you. And that's worked really well for me. It does take time to kind of map that out in your own mind. But if you get into the habit of looking things externally through a glass mirror without emotions involved, then I think you'll be able to think a lot clearer and get to a solution quicker.
What a like absolute like kick ass, golden nugget you just dropped for our audience out there. I mean, I'll say a couple months ago when we started working together, and I asked some question about the ad sets, and you just said, "Give me some time. I'm gonna meditate on it, and I'll get back to you." And I was like, "Huh?" Like, I was like, "What is he talking about?" And then after the fact, I'm like, "Okay, I get it now. I get it now." So that's badass. All right, we're gonna pivot to the last couple questions here. Let's have some fun for a second. Imagine for a moment it's your last day on Earth, and you can only preserve 3 items in your time capsule. What are those items and why?
That's a very out the box question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 3 items and why. I'm gonna say probably is gonna just be sentimental things. So maybe my some letters that I've received from my father. This kind of thing, some sentimental things to me. I'm gonna maybe take have a gold ring that my grandfather gave me. I'm probably gonna take this one just to, if I'm going away with it and to keep it safe. And then maybe some. I don't know. Am I going somewhere with this one, or like am I girl?
There's no right or wrong answers.
Okay.
It's interesting to hear everyone's responses, and I'll say sure why in a moment. So what would you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say the ring. I'm gonna say the letters, and then for the last one, I'm gonna say maybe some hair dye just to keep me looking fresh. That's always important. You go the part to do the part.
Has anyone told you that you look a little like Eminem?
Since the new haircut, maybe I can see it. I don't know. I did maybe like a bit of Channing Tatum back in the day.
Oh yeah, Channing Tatum. Okay, I see where you're going with this. Of course, you want to Channing Tatum.
I'm reaching a little bit. And let me have it. It's all right. Let me have it.
That's hilarious, dude. Oh man. Okay, so final question for you. What is your definition of a real estate rock star?
That is a good question. I like this question. Yeah, because I speak to, maybe 50 agents a week. No, maybe not personally, but they're in this whatever. And I speak to agents in the program, ones that win, ones that don't. Okay. And the webinar rock stars, or the real estate agent rock stars, brokerage rock stars, I see them winning on a daily basis in my program, and I see the ones losing. And the difference is and there's a few things, but the main things is real estate rock stars, they take action today. They don't say, I'm going to call those leads tomorrow. They make it happen regardless of the situation. They don't give excuses. They don't say, oh, I'm going to have my team member call the leads, or, oh, yeah, he should close, or the paperwork should go through. They make sure that by the end of the day, that everything that they knows needs to be done is done, and they don't rest until it's done. And they have that almost FU attitude to task on their plate, and they say, no, I'm not accepting anything but this. Their standards are the ceiling, and the real estate agents that fail, their standards are the floor. Yeah, so they hard parts, that they deserve to win. And therefore, they do everything for them, for their family, to do the best they can every single day. They focus on the inputs and not the outputs. And I think the real estate agents that fail, the realtors that fail, they focus on the outputs, the fact that they're not getting XYZ, which leads to them complaining, instead of actually just knuckling down and saying, okay, how can I work smart and hard and actually go ahead and get what I need to be done over the line? So that's the biggest thing I see.
Wow, I'm gonna borrow that metaphor about their standard is the ceiling versus the floor. I mean, that's so true. I mean, in every way, every sense of the word. Wow.
Create your reality at the end of the day. So whatever you deem to accept, it's like, Justin, if you had, let's say you had 100K in your bank account, right? If your standard is 100K, every time your bank account went to 95K, you'd have a fit. You'd be like, hold on a minute, how's this possible? You'd be baffled, and you'd do everything in your power to get back to 100K. But if your standard is $5,000 and it goes below, then yeah, you'll do everything you can to get to 5, but that's your standard. So if we just raise the bar and say, no, my standard is this today, this is how I'm going to act, then you'll always perform to your standards. You never act to your goals. You always perform to your standards. And I think that's something people don't realize.
You never act your goals. You always perform to your standards. Holy smokes, folks. If you did not take notes today, you better go back and rewatch this episode 10 times. Okay. This gentleman just dropped some absolute knowledge on you. So, Fred, thank you so much. So, Fred, share, if you wouldn't mind, share with the audience where they can find and connect with you.
Yeah, 100%. And the final thing I just want to say, and it's because I see it all the time, and I speak to real estate agents in pain and people in the industry in pain. And obviously my job is to solve that pain, and there's only so much I can do. The one thing I just want to put the message out to everyone today is it's all in your mind. It's not about the strategy you use. It's not about the leads you speak to. It's not about the script you use. It's not about the lender you use. It's not. It's about the beliefs you have in your mind and how you act on them subconsciously every single day. If you can change your beliefs in your mind and change how you perceive yourself and the world, then the world will change in real time and your reality will change. So that's just something I want to just put out there. But yeah. Yeah, in terms
You're just on fire. You're just on fire, Gray. Let's be honest.
Yeah, just to get together, we're still on fire. When I see you in DFW, we're gonna have some fun for sure.
Oh, we are for sure.
But yeah, in terms of if you are a real estate agent, a lender, or investor, even broker, team leader, we work with high-level agents who are looking to actually get out of the day-to-day and scale at big time and grow, and build something big. Then my company's called Launch Webinars. We will help you. It's all done for you. And you work with me closely, and we'll build everything out for you and make sure you succeed. So we actually do offer a free trial currently. I don't know how long that's going to last, but you can actually go ahead and do one webinar, see it work in your market, and before you invest with us. So if you just search launchwebinars.io, you can sign up to our free trial there. You'll speak to one of my team members, and then eventually we'll have a chat. We'll do the webinar. You'll see it working in real time. You'll see the results, and then we can build something long term. That's the goal. So yeah, but Justin, I appreciate everything. It's been super fun.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And again, for all you out there that are looking or evaluating a webinar type strategy for your business, they're phenomenal. They know what they're doing. And to be honest, his offer that he just explained to y'all, it just demonstrates their confidence in what they do, because no one's going to do a complimentary trial unless they know they're going to knock it out of the park. And these guys do time and time again. I'm certainly proof of it. And I'm very grateful for the partnership. So folks, make sure you connect with Fred and the team at launchwebinars.io. All right, folks, there we have it. Another wonderful episode here on the Real Estate Rockstars podcast. I'm Justin Nimergood with Fred Scarf, signing off. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.